you agree about the metaphor of China-Hong Kong, the business symbiosis? Can you explain?
I agree with the member. China receipt of Hong Kong is surveyed in 1997, so Hong Kong is China. They belong to a country. Economy point of view, China's gross domestic product of nearly 1 trillion in 1999. China is the world's seventh largest economy. It is the second largest economy in Asia pre-region. China jumped to the third world. Hong Kong economy is 6 times similar than China's, but is vitiated and intrepid. Spain, it is very famous and reposted. China economy grows and modernly in recent years. Many Hong Kong companies took their manufacturing to China. Of the two economies, they has famous until business center. At the end of 1978, the start of the economic reform in China, including increased foreign trade and investment. Industry in Hong Kong. Have made greater progress. Foreign investment to praise the production of example produce. So Hong Kong is China example. Since 2012, Chinese companies raised 43 billion on the market in Hong Kong. In the produce of official and on the mainland, exchange rate only 25 billion. Anywhere in the world, Hong Kong also play with Chinese companies in two bonds and line finance global companies marketers. In addition, Hong Kong is a major hub of Chinese investment. It accounts for 2/3 of the foreign direct investments in China last year, up from 30 points in 2005. Okay, that's all.
Of FDI in China compared to Hong Kong.
Okay, the major determinant for foreign investment in China were obviously cheaper labor costs. The Chinese government started to place more emphasis on technology-intensive investment in early 1990s. Besides that, another bright spot for direct investment in China has been represented by R&D activities. Besides that, another bright spot for direct investment in China has been represented by the R&D activities, with over 100 R&D activities established by transnational corporations such as Microsoft, Panasonic, Nokia, Sony Ericsson, and many more. Moreover, the push and pull factors determine the foreign companies to perceive for locating R&D activities close to customer base in order to better adapt new technologies in the needs to local market. On the other hand, the pull factors firstly include availability of extensive hard and soft R&D activities in the country, which includes particularly well-educated and hard-working researchers at low cost, including many graduates returned from abroad. Second, government policies to reform of R&D, encouraging Chinese R&D institutions to become proactive and to seek partnerships with TNCs. Many Western companies have invested in China in late 1980s to early 1990s. for the obvious reasons, namely the size and the potential of 1.2 billion consumers market. However, many firms caught unaware by the complexities of doing business in China. The Chinese government decided to withdraw special incentives to foreign investors, believing that the marketing factors about China market are strong enough determinants for foreign investment. China, Hong Kong has enjoyed an extraordinary FDI boom in 1999 and especially in 2000. Hong Kong's share of world FDI inflows went up from 1.9% in 1995 to over 5% in 2000. Hong Kong has traditionally enjoyed favorite position in the FDI world, which are an advantageous geographical location, sound infrastructure and low tax regime. There are four main explanations as to recent improvement in inflows to Hong Kong. Firstly, it reflects a recovery from the economic turmoil of 1997 to 1998. A market growth in reinvested earnings was related to the improved profit positions of foreign affiliates in the economy. Secondly, transnational companies planning to invest in mainland China have been parking funds in Hong Kong, for instance in the form of long-term loans in their affiliates in Hong Kong, in expectancy of business opportunities on the mainland. Thirdly, the increase reflects a major cross-border merger and acquisition in telecommunications. Finally, there is an element of increased transit FDI into and out of Hong Kong. A considerable part of Hong Kong's investment inflows and outflows are related to business ventures elsewhere in the region, especially on the mainland. The issue is further complicated by the round-tripping phenomenon, for example, capital inflows and outflows relating to Hong Kong via tax haven, economics such as these British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands and Bermuda.
According to Antec, the number of regional headquarters of foreign firms in Hong Kong has dropped from 903 in 1997 to 818 in 1998 to rise again to 855 in 2000. How would you explain these changes?
Okay. The number of regional headquarters of foreign firms in Hong Kong has decreased by 85 from 903 in 1997 to 818 in 1998. But it rose again by 37 from 818 in 1998 to 855 in 2000. These changes occurred due to the reflection of recovery from the economic crisis in 1997 to 1998. Significant growth in reinvest earnings is related to better profit position of foreign affiliates in the economy. Besides, transnational companies have plans to invest in mainland China and have been parking funds in Hong Kong in anticipation of business opportunities in mainland. For example, in the form of long-term loans to their affiliates in Hong Kong. In addition, the increase that occurred from 1998 to 2000 reflects the major cross-border mergers and acquisitions in telecommunications. China Mobile in Hong Kong acquired in November 2000 and had 7 largest mobile network with the transaction of $33 billion of FDI outflow from Hong Kong. The China Mobile in Hong Kong acquired in November 2000 and had 7 largest mobile network with the transaction of $33 billion of FDI outflow from Hong Kong. The agreement was partly funded by a $23 billion in capital raise through the issuance of new shares to its parent company in the British Virgin Islands with registered FDI inflows into Hong Kong. Lastly, there is an element of increased FDI transit into and out of Hong Kong. The bulk of investment inflows and outflows relating to trade Hong Kong business elsewhere in the region, particularly on the mainland. The bulk of investment inflows and outflows relating to trade Hong Kong business elsewhere in the region, particularly on the mainland. The issue is further complicated by the phenomenon of round-tripping, which is capital inflows and outflows related to Hong Kong through tax haven economies such as the British Virgin Islands, the Cayman Islands, and Bermuda. Thank you.
What you have in China is rosy macro but a lousy micro. Can you care what to discuss about this statement?
Based on this case study, China is one of the best country from economic side and very suitable for us to make an investment at the country. This is because the economy is very stable and stable. From the macro perspective, we should invest in China, but when the economic is going down to choosing specific stock to buy, then it is not too easy. For all the investor, they need to know about China from a side of macro perspective before they make invest in that country. They has two type of perspective, which is capital control, market efficiency, and economic reform and transition. First is capital control market efficiency. Even though China is the second largest economic market in the world, China still has many new of an emerging market. In that particular, it is to close economy, which the capital cannot flow out and out freely. As the result, the domestic stock predominantly over 95% owned by domestic investor. From the economic reform and transition, they must see the progress in China economic reform. In such of particular, the importance of state-owned enterprise in terms of their contribution to China total investment, corporate earnings, urban employment has declined substantially in recent years. This is basically positive as source by and large less productive, contrasted and privately owned business as they normally organize social objective over shareholders. China lousy micro. Despite the impressive figure, there are many serious economic problems resulting from the economic growth. In such of particular, the growth rate is combined with population of over 1 billion has caused serious environmental problems. This is a good example of negative externalities of growth. A negative externality is a cost imposed on the rest of society as a result of receiving the benefit from growth.
Talking about FDI and portfolio investment in China and Hong Kong, which form of investment you think is more volatile? Can you explain?
Okay. Talking about FDI and portfolio investment, I think that the FDI and portfolio investment in China is more volatile. Although China's stock market have grown impressively and they are also the world best performing, but for the international investor, playing China investment can be a frustrating and difficult game. For example, great investment on paper that investor think will give a high return in the past has seldom provided the sort of returns investors have thought. At the end of February 2001, when the Chinese authorities for the first time allowed the local resident with foreign currency deposit to buy B share, the foreign currency denominated stock list in Shanghai and Shenzhen previously opened with only 2 foreigners. Over the 12-month period, China B share market, the stock class that is open to foreign investors, went through the roof, appreciating by 262%. But the returns earned by the ordinary investor didn't even come close to that level. Over the same period, the top performing Hong Kong approved China fund returns its investor 23%. The average fund in the sector made returns of just 0.78%. You should certainly invest in China if you follow the perspective from from the macroeconomy. But it is not so easy when it comes down to choosing particular stock to buy. The key problem seems to be the strong economic growth has not automatically returns into corporate profits. Competition in many domestic sector is already ruthless, and with the WTO membership it is likely to get even fiercer, eroding companies' pricing power still further. It clearly appears that investing in China is by no means a quick and easy sprint race, but a fiercely contested long-distance runs. That's all.
Where will you prefer investing, in China or in Hong Kong? Explain. To answer the questions, we need first to know about the history of both China and Hong Kong. Both have a long history together, in which Hong Kong is one part of China and was out of China a few years. Just recently, Hong Kong is a part of China again. To put it simple, Hong Kong is a place in which have a low tax, free trade, and also less government interference. China is more focusing on manufacturing. To put it simple, I would prefer to invest in Hong Kong due to some of the obvious factors that we can see. First is due to Hong Kong is considered as a tax haven. Hong Kong, with its law imposed that limit taxations for the island wealth, foreign resident and corporations. For a multinational company, investing in Hong Kong is like a ticket in order to gain more than the normal investment. 72% of investment in China were through Hong Kong, in which a lot more than direct investment in China by any other country. Investing in Hong Kong also create protections for the foreign parent company. Let's take for example a holding company. It's offered the foreign investor more protections than the direct investment and also joint venture. Still, if a joint venture is to happen, forming it at Hong Kong will offer the company better flexibility and less risk rather than direct setup joint venture at China. As an investor, the main purpose to invest is to gain more profit and to lower costs as much as possible. Hong Kong is considered to be better than China in these terms. Hong Kong, the simple, efficient and cost-effective administrations. Incorporating a company here is quick and can be done completely within the periods of 24 hours.